Janet, sensing the disaster, grabbed Chrissy's arm. New plan. I'm his fiancée. You're his sister. We're wholesome. We're boring. We're practically the Waltons. I don't want to be the sister, Chrissy pouted. Sisters don't get to wear the fancy hats. Just do it, Chrissy, for the water heater. Chapter 15. The Masquerade on the Pier. The judges reached Station 4. Mrs. Throckmorton looked at Jack's plum glaze with suspicious eyes. And who do we have here? Mr. Tripper. Ah, this is my lovely fiancée, Janet, Jack said, pulling Janet into the frame. Janet flashed a smile so wholesome it could have sold apple butter. We're getting married in the spring. Very traditional, very quiet. And this, Jack continued, gesturing to Chrissy, who was currently trying to eat a piece of decorative garnish, is my sister, Christmas. She's visiting from the convent. Chrissy froze, a leaf of kale sticking out of her mouth. The convent? Oh, yes, bless you. We love kale at the nunnery. Mrs. Throckmorton's icy gaze softened. A fiancée and a sister in the church. Splendid. It's so rare to see a young man with his priorities so clearly in order. Now, let's taste the duck. Andre de Beaumont was fuming. He waited until Mrs. Throckmorton moved to the next station and then hissed at Jack. You think you are clever, Tripper, but I will find the truth. I will unmask your nuns and your fiancés. Chapter 16. The Heart's Recipe. The tension of the day culminated in the final tasting. Jack had survived the questions, the sabotage, and the hula hoop contest that Chrissy had accidentally entered during a break. As the sun began to set over the Pacific, turning the water into molten gold, Jack found himself alone with Janet near the edge of the pier. You were a great fiancée today, Janet, Jack said, leaning against the wooden railing, even for a fake one. Janet looked out at the ocean, the wind ruffling her hair. I didn't have to act as hard as I thought I would, Jack. It felt almost normal. Jack looked at her, and for a moment, the slapstick world of apartment 201 seemed to fade away. The plum glaze, the rent, the leisure suits, none of it mattered as much as the quiet warmth in Janet's eyes. He reached out, his hand brushing hers on the railing. Janet. Winner. Station 4. Jack Tripper. The announcement boomed over the speakers. The crowd erupted. Chrissy came sprinting toward them, a giant trophy in her arms. We won. We won the water heater. The moment of realization was swept away by the chaos of victory. Jack was hoisted onto shoulders. Mrs. Throckmorton handed him a check, and Andre de Beaumont walked into a tray of shrimp cocktail in his haste to leave. Back at the apartment that night, the $1,000 check sat on the coffee table like a sacred relic. They had won. They were safe. To the best roommates in the world, Jack said, raising a glass of wine. And to the best fiancé, a guy could never quite tell the truth to. Janet smiled, clinking her glass against his. The secret was still safe. The rent was paid, and the song of apartment 201 played on a melody of 3 hearts, 1,000 laughs, and a love that was just a knock on the door away. Chapter 17. The Phantom Love Letter. The victory at the pier had brought more than just a trophy. It brought Jack a job offer he couldn't refuse. He was hired as the lead chef for Le Panache, a restaurant so exclusive that the waiters spoke in hushed French, and the menus were printed on parchment. It's the big leagues, Janet, Jack said, pacing the living room with a legal pad. But the owner, Monsieur Henri, is even more traditional than Mrs. Throckmorton. He thinks a chef's heart should be as pure as a clarified consommé. Janet, who was sketching a new bouquet design, looked up. Does he know about your consort? He thinks I'm a dedicated monk of the culinary arts, Jack groaned. I spent all morning practicing descriptions for the lover's soufflé. I wanted to write something poetic, something that captures the essence of, well, you know. Later that afternoon, after Jack had left for his first shift, Janet found a scrap of paper on the kitchen table. It was written in Jack's messy scrawl. Your eyes are like the clear morning dew on a rose petal. Your presence is the secret ingredient that makes my life complete. I think of you every time the oven timer dings. Meet me on the balcony at midnight. I have a soufflé that needs your face. Janet felt her breath catch. Her heart, usually so sensible, began to drum a rhythm she couldn't ignore. After all the masquerades, was Jack finally being real? Chapter 18. The Morality Inspection. The midnight rendezvous was derailed by a sudden, frantic banging on the door. It wasn't Jack. It was Ralph Furley, wearing an electric blue leisure suit with gold piping that hurt the eyes. "Tripper! Ladies! Emergency!" Furley shouted, stumbling inside. "My brother Bart is coming for a surprise visit. He's the head of the Santa Monica Morality League. He thinks I'm running a house of ill repute because I mentioned vibrations in my last letter." Janet, still holding the love letter in her pocket, felt the romantic fog evaporate. "Bart is coming now? He's in the lobby. He wants to do a building morality inspection. If he sees 3 single people living here, he'll yank my management license and put us all in a state-run hostel." Chrissy emerged from her room, wearing a sleep mask on her forehead. "A hostel? Is that like a hospital for horses?" "No time for definitions," Furley squeaked. "Wood. Snow. You have to hide. Or pretend you're my sisters. Or something." "Mr. Furley," Janet said, her voice dropping an octave as she saw a stern-looking man in a grey suit standing in the doorway. "I think it's too late." Bart Furley was everything Ralph was not: stern, grey, and possessing a gaze that could wither a cactus. "Ralph, explain this. This collection of youth." Chapter 19. The Gala and the Jealousy. The morality inspection lasted 3 grueling hours. Janet and Chrissy had to pretend they were Ralph's devout nieces from a religious flower-arranging colony. By the time Bart left, satisfied that the vibrations were merely faulty plumbing, Janet was exhausted and humiliated. Jack returned home late, smelling of garlic and expensive wine. He looked ecstatic. The first night was a hit, and Monsieur Henri's daughter, Sonia, says, "I'm a genius. She's coming over tomorrow to discuss the menu for the Grand Gala." Janet's heart sank. "Sonia, the gourmet critic? She's brilliant, Janet, and she wants me to bring a companion to the gala," she suggested herself. The next evening, Sonia arrived. She was a vision in silk and confidence, her hair perfectly coiffed. She spent the entire hour leaning over Jack's shoulder, tasting his plum glaze with a look of intense concentration. Janet watched from the kitchen, her grip tightening on a head of lettuce. She had the love letter in her pocket, the one about morning dew and oven timers. She felt a surge of indignation. How could he write that to her and then act like a puppy around Sonia? "Jack," Janet interrupted, stepping into the living room. The balcony. Remember?" Jack looked up, blinking. "The balcony? Oh, the soufflé. I almost forgot. Sonia, you have to see this. It's my new lover's soufflé, the one I was practicing the description for." Janet froze. "The description?" "Yeah," Jack said, grinning. "The one on the scrap of paper. I was going to use it for the gala program. Sonia says it's deliciously kitschy." Chapter 20. The Unspoken Truth. The silence that followed was broken only by the sound of the ocean waves. Janet felt a wave of hot embarrassment followed by a cold, sharp clarity. It wasn't for her. It was for a menu. After Sonia left, Janet stood on the balcony, looking out at the Santa Monica Pier. The lights were twinkling like fallen stars. Jack stepped out beside her, his expression uncharacteristically serious. "Janet," he said softly, "I saw you earlier. With the lettuce, you looked different." "I was just thinking about the lover's soufflé, Jack," she said, her voice steady. "It's a good description. Kitschy, but good." Jack looked at her, the humor gone from his eyes. He reached out and pulled out another scrap of paper, one that hadn't been on the kitchen table. "I wrote another one," he whispered. "This one isn't for the menu. Monsieur Henri would hate it. It's too honest." He handed it to her. Janet unfolded it. No rose petals, no consommé. Just a girl who keeps me grounded when I'm about to trip over my own feet. The one who performs Romanian dances to save my skin. The one I want to see when the lights go down in apartment 201. No gala companion needed. Just you. Janet looked up, her eyes stinging. "Jack,